This video is going to show how to open student submissions and give them various forms of feedback. And I'll just give you a couple things to consider by flipping back and forth between a student view and a teacher view so you can understand how they're going to view the feedback that you see. So first of all, I'm going to just go into this assignment. As the teacher, when I click on the assignment, like I said before, the directions would typically be in here. Anything that the students submit, you'd see their student name going down the side here. And if you have your courses linked together, like if you teach multiple subjects of the same thing and you have them grouped together, you can toggle between your two classes so you can see the roster of what was submitted or not. To view what the kids submit, all you do is click on their name. And in this case, what I did is I submitted two things. So I can tell how many things the student submits by looking at this submission activity. So at 10:44 I submitted my first thing, at 10:48 I submitted my second thing. So right now what you're seeing is the second thing I submitted, and I just made a quick video just to like show what this would look like if the kids would submit a video for you. So this could be good for a bunch of different reasons, but like a more traditional thing that the students would submit is a document. So for as the teacher, I can toggle to see both things they submit. So I'm going to just go to revision 1, and it's going to pull up my PDF document that I think is just like a step-by-step guide on how to do something. So as the teacher, there's a couple different ways that you give feedback. If you have the kids turn something into you that's like a document or a picture, basically what's going to happen is that document's going to open up in Schoology's document viewer. And you'll have the ability, like as a teacher, I can draw over this, I can highlight text, I can basically do whatever I want. I can add a note directly on this page. The student will have to come back on here. So like as you can see, I'm just doodling, drawing around here. If I want to add a comment or a note, I could just put, all right, something's going on in this specific thing. So I can be really specific in this. But when you do these comments, you have to have a way of telling the student to come back into the document to be able to see what you see. So I'll just put nice graphic here, and I'll hit save. On the right side of the screen, you can actually add comments that are like outside of the document. So what's nice about this is you could like type something in if you wanted to. If you had like a separate rubric that you would typically use, you could add a file or just add something that the student could look at to see like a more descriptive reason of what you're commenting or not. Or what's kind of nice is you could do an audio or video recording. So if you did an audio recording, you could just be like, it would basically be like you're talking to the student and telling them exactly what they would need to improve or what they could be working on. The only downfall is with this is the recorder kind of pops up over the screen, so you almost have to like have planned out what you want to say before you would start the recording of it. So with these options, the student would definitely be able to see the feedback that you gave. The only thing would be is that the student would have to physically go back into this assignment to be able to view it, and there's nothing wrong with that. The student just has to be, you just have to talk to the student for what that looks like. So they could potentially submit multiple things to the same Dropbox, and that works out fine. Another place where you can provide feedback to the student is up here where you give a grade. And since we're not focusing on grades right now, I'm not even going to put anything in for it. And we're not even going to talk about like a rubric or anything for it. But there also is potential to add rubrics, and we can push that and talk about that in a future training if we continue with this extension of learning through Schoology. But if you add a grade comment, so I'll just say nice work, and I'll click to show to student. This can actually be viewed from their grade book or other areas. So I'm going to just hit submit. And so now what we're going to do, I added my different comments and feedbacks in here, and I put that nice work in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle. I have two different accounts, so it's nice because then I can put one in as a student and I have the other one that's in as the teacher. So I'm going to have to just go find this course really quick. And then what I'm going to do is, I know that I submitted something to my teacher, and I want to go on and see what this feedback looks like. So if I go in, I can see like what this revision looks like. I can see the comments that teacher made for me, and if there was anything on the side, I can actually comment and have a conversation going back and forth with the teacher. If I look at my second submission, I can see that the teacher didn't put anything on here. So I can see the stuff that's directly on the document, but like as the student, I don't see like my grade pop up here with like the comment for it. So if I get out of my submission, I can see the comment here, and I can see where the teacher says nice work on it. The other spot that I can see this is if I go over, like as a student, there's a spot where I can see all of my grades really easily. So if I click on grades, you'd have potentially a list of all the assignments and things that you did. This is just a generic grading category that I had, so that's why it says assessment. And then here's where I could also see the grade comment. So I don't have a physical grade in here, but I still had to comment. In this case, I was super generic with the feedback I gave, but you could be specific and like give specific pointers in here as well for things that they wanted to improve.